welcome everybody to Dissecting Tyrone. I'm Jason.
I'm Brandon.
And today's episode is My Mind is Playing Tricks on Me, the dynamics of therapy and a relationship. Well, today we got two guests. We've been having guests this season. Last episode was phenomenal. Everybody was eating it up, and we had a lot of engagement.
Great feedback.
Everybody joined the conversation. Those two ladies will be regulars at some point. We'll have them back on because everybody enjoyed it, and they liked that. So those two will be back on. But today, we brought some specialists in. I'd like to introduce you to Miss Rose Jackson.
Hi, I'm Rose. I'm with creative counseling in the studio.
Okay, and Mr. Peyton Hogan.
Yeah, Peyton Hogan. I'm with Bear Company Counseling. That's my private practice. We got about 11 therapists there, and 8 of them are black.
That's good to hear.
Hey, that's
Right
super
on.
good to hear.
Yeah.
Right
That's
now.
super good to hear. And that's what this is about, man. You know, we always advocate therapy. I'm a super big proponent of therapy and counseling. And so we wanted to have some therapists on and just talk about the dynamics of relationships and how therapy can help you in that.
Right. Now, if you remember one of our episodes, we talked about being able to have a therapist that looks like you, especially in this city, is very, very important. I think one of the drawbacks sometimes is since Omaha is so small, you kind of like, I don't want my business out there. But I think we have two great guests today that can definitely add some value to your life. And we're glad that you're tuned in right now.
Definitely. Let me start by asking, I think the hardest part for therapy after deciding that you want to do it and that you need it is trying to figure out who to go to. Like sometimes I think people don't know where to start, and that discourages them from even getting it. So let me start off. Let's start off with that question to both of you guys. What is the best way for somebody to find a therapist?
Best way to find a therapist. If everybody on here that's watching is an adult, I would equate it to drinking wine. I don't drink wine, but when I hear people talk about drinking wine, they go to wine tastings, they taste a little bit here, they take flights of wine, they do all of that, you know what I'm saying? And I think finding a therapist is the same thing. You try a therapist out. If you rock with them, if you vibe with them, you stick with it. If you start to learn things, you stick with it. If you don't, you fire them. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about going to a therapist. They're like, I'm going to a therapist, I'm about to get fixed, my life is about to change. And a lot of times you don't have like that relationship with them, and it's like, this ain't what I'm rocking with.
Right.
But they'll stay. And so then you won't actually get the help that you need, and you'll start to believe that therapy doesn't work. And then that'll be what I've saw or what I've seen is that becomes a further excuse for why I'm not going to go to therapy in the future. I tried it. It ain't good. But I've also heard, like I said, with wine, people try one wine and they're like, this is gross. And then they try something like a sangria, and it tastes like fruit and juice, and they like, this is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with a therapist. Like, you just try until you find the right one, and you'll know when you know.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Yes, I do. I do too. A lot of the people that I see, honestly, just come from word of mouth and come from social media. That's the reason why I carry myself the way I do on social media. I mean, semi-professional, but I mean, really just asking questions. I mean, just like anything else you want to do. A lot of your friends are in therapy. They're just maybe not just broadcasting it. They're maybe not just like sharing that outwardly, but a lot of your friends are in therapy, and just asking your friends. And I mean, we also have, like, actually both of us, we started at Charles Drew, and they have black therapists. Charles Drew is located in North Omaha. It's always been pretty much the place if you want a black therapist or a black doctor, so you can start there. And they accept Medicaid and sliding fees, so meaning that you may not pay top dollar for therapy. And then Psychology Today is a place where you can find therapists too. www.psychologytoday.org.
I'm glad you mentioned the sliding scale fee, because I think that's another barrier to therapy. Everybody thinks that it costs an arm and a leg, or that they don't have the extra money to do it. So a lot of people get discouraged by that. So you heard that here. Charles Drew, you can go there. They have a sliding fee, so it'll be based on your income. So no excuse.
I'm going to jump in real quick because I think therapy at times can cost an arm and a leg. And that, I think that right there is a barrier to so many people coming. But like she said, like, if you got insurance, whether it's Medicaid or you have some type of commercial insurance plan through your business or through your place of work, that also is covered. Therapy covers that, or insurance covers therapy. There we go. That's how I was trying to say it. But on the same token, too, it costing so much, it's like, I think there's so many things in life that cost a lot more.
Absolutely.
Right. And so like
that
what,
we get.
Yeah, what price do you really put on your mental health? I know people, one of the examples that I give, I used to be a personal trainer, and this might be off topic, so y'all go ahead and stop.
Are you good?
You know what I'm saying?
No, you good.
And I used to sell personal training over at a club, and I'm not going to mention the name. It's cool. They now charge an arm and a leg just to be a member there. When I remember back in the day, it used to be $20 just to be there. And just because they slapped a new name on it, it's now like $100-something, and they got silver and gold anyways. When I was working there, part of the sales pitch of personal training was, okay, you want to get in shape, right? Cool. Put them through tests, do all these different things. And at the end of it, you give them the price and they're like, oh man, that's so much. I'm like, okay. So price is the issue. I'm like, all right, let's factor some things in. I want to try to give you a free diet plan. How often are you eating out? And they're like, maybe eat out, 3 times a week. Okay. I'm like, okay, cool. Where you eating out at? McDonald's? I'm like, okay, on average, how much are you spending at McDonald's a week? They're like $10. I'm like, cool. All right, so we're eating out 3 times a week, $10. Okay, so that's $30 a week. Now, is it just you? Or is it, no. So it's like $10 for me and my 4 kids. Cool, so $40 per day, 3 times a week, $120 a week, right? Take that times 4.5. We're going to do some rough math. That's about $500 a month. So you're telling me right now that you're spending $500 a month to eat out, but you can't spend $200 for a trainer that's going to get your health right.
Right.
I think when we start to put these things into perspective, it makes a lot more sense. So, yeah, the dollar amount to go to therapy might seem like a lot when I'm not looking at the grand scheme of my life and where I'm allocating my money, because majority of the things that I'm spending money on might be adversely affecting my mental health. Absolutely. When I could spend a fraction of that to better it. So I'm just saying, when we talk about how much it is it really that much?
Well, and one thing I'll say, I had a friend that had a $1,200 car note, had a $2,200 a month mortgage payment. Went on vacations all the time. Went on just trips throughout the city, trips out of the country, and then when it came to therapy, it was like, oh, I don't have the extra money for it. And I'm like, so at the end of the day, I think money is a barrier when they're looking for an excuse to not go to therapy.
Absolutely. I think it boils down to discipline. It's also going to boil down to what is important to you. And I think something that both of you alluded to that I think it will be good, is there any type of guide that both of you provide in your practice that kind of breaks down like, hey, these are some things that you can benefit from therapy. So people, and then also when you were talking about don't just stop at the one. Obviously, you're going to want their business, but if they're not a good fit, because when I went through therapy, going through my divorce, I did a little bit of research. I was trying to find somebody that kind of looked like me, but the fact of the matter is I didn't. And I found somebody who I was like, okay, well, this is what hopefully is going to work. This is what's going to maybe make this relationship a little bit better. And ultimately, it still boils down to 2 people have to be wanting to make something work. But it just felt like, okay, maybe this wasn't the best fit, but I didn't know what my options were. So do either one of you offer some type of like plan to say, hey, if this doesn't work, these are some of the key things that you need to be looking for. And if you remove the person and you find that, and then boom, it'd just be an added plus if it's someone who looks like you, who you think you can relate with better. Do you offer anything like that?
So I personally do not, but I post a lot on social media, and I also put out a lot of content just covering like some of these things that you're asking.
Hey, I don't want to cut you off, but let me say real quick.
Yeah.
I've watched his podcast. His podcast is dope, especially if you're looking for help in mental health. Can you just promote that real quick for me? What's your podcast?
Yeah. So my podcast is the CYR podcast, because when you clean your room, you change your life. Oh, you right here. I'm looking over here. When you clean your room, you change your life. So we bring guests on, and we just cover a plethora of topics, whether it's business, entrepreneurship, but then also tying in that mental health aspect. And each one of my guests all have stories. They have stories of their life and how they went from maybe the villain or maybe the zero to the hero, and how, like, if you're somebody who's on the opposite side of the screen watching the podcast, My hope with it is you place yourself in the positions or the situations, or even relate to some aspect of it, and see that everything doesn't always have to be so bleak. Maybe seasons, maybe portions, maybe parts look dim, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel as long as you continue to go. So
all right. I just had to throw that out there
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
really is a dope podcast. And a lot of times when you're afraid to take that step to go seek therapy, maybe you can watch a few podcasts, get online, look at some things, and then when you're ready to take that step, it'll be available to you. But anyway, go ahead with your answer. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember what
Yeah,
it was.
so the answer was basically
Sorry, y'all.
So the answer was for both of you. When you mentioned that sometimes the first therapist that you seek out may not be the right fit for you. What should someone do? Is there a checklist? Is there something that you recommend for them to actually say, okay, let me go through these progressions and start interviewing therapists versus just seeking out the first person to try to put a Band-Aid on something?
So what I do with people is I always introduce two different type of charts that a person can look at. So we have a Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and then we have the 8 dimensions of wellness. And so 8 dimensions of wellness help me out, but it's social, spiritual, vocational, financial. That's 4. Existential, I'm missing 3. I'm going to say educational, but it's the 8 dimensions make up your whole wellness. And if you look at those 8 dimensions and you see deficits in all of them or several, I feel like maybe you should start there. So like, for instance, and then they coincide with each other and then they bounce off of each other. You could actually be doing really, really well in one area, like career, but then you could be really struggling in social because you're putting all your life into your career, but you don't spend no time with your friends and family. So I always have people like look at that chart and start there. Like, is there anywhere within these 8 dimensions you feel like there's some deficits in? And then, of course, Maslow's hierarchy of need. I mean, we have our basic needs, which is food, water, and shelter at the bottom. And then at the top, we have self-actualization. And just I have people actually kind of look at, like, where are you at within that hierarchy? And if you have identified some deficits, definitely, you might want to start therapy. But, like, I guess I'll use financial as one of the dimensions. So, like, sometimes people come to therapy. Like, sometimes you can even understand if you need an actual therapist or if you need like a coach or like a life coach, because they are different. But like people who might have some issues with finances, they might seek out a financial coach, but then they might also seek out a therapist because they have a haywire idea of the way that they have a bad relationship or poor relationship with money. So like I always have people like start there, like where are your deficits? Can you identify your deficits? But then sometimes people live in la-la land and they have a hard time identifying deficits because they feel like they don't have any deficits. But we all have deficits.
Absolutely. And to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, I do something very similar. So if you're anybody who's watching this and you're like, should I go to a therapist? Shouldn't I go to a therapist? How do I know if my therapist is one that I can actually like rock with and really make some progress with? Your therapist should be doing a couple of things. One, when you first come in, your therapist should be doing some type of full brief questionnaire assessment so they can get a scope of what's going on. Mm-hmm. If they're not doing that and they just got you coming into the office, be weary, because what are they really working off of? You know what I'm saying? If they're just letting you come in and talk, that's cool. If you're paying enough money, right? If you're paying enough money and you just paying to go talk to somebody, hey, more power to you. But if that's not what you're looking for and you're really trying to work through some things, then they should be doing that assessment. From there, you want to be seeing if that therapist is like building rapport. So like, am I able to like connect, relate, actually like feel like, man, this person sees me for me? Now, it's not always going to be like that because, be honest with you, when I was 19 years old, I had to go to therapy, not by choice, by force. I was on drug court. I had some felony drug charges out in Wayne, Nebraska, and so I had to move to Madison County, had to do the drug court program, 2-year long, whole thing. But my therapist was a white lady. I think she was like early middle age. I don't want to age you, Julie, if you watching this by chance. I don't know if you watch. If you are though, I'm not trying to age you. Sweet lady. She was super dope. But when I met her, like, we had no relating factors.
Right.
I didn't, you know what I'm like, if I would have been walking down the streets, I probably would have said hi because I'm a good Nebraskan person. You know what I'm saying? We all wave at each other here. But there wouldn't have, like, there was no real click. But she was good at what she did. She asked the right questions. She didn't press. She met me where I was at. And she allowed me to start to unpack some of the things when I was ready. So relating to your therapist is not always there, but she created a strong therapeutic dynamic for me by just meeting me where I was and allowed me to be ready when I was ready. And so I think those are a couple of the things that you want to look at when you're thinking about, like, who do I want to work with? But you have to get in there first to even know. And one more thing, I'm talking a lot, so forgive me.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do your thing.
That's what we do. Talk a lot.
Yeah, I could talk. I'm actually an ambivert, if you know what that is. That means
You're both.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
both.
the same thing. Yeah.
Like it might seem like I'm extroverted because I'm going, but I actually get most energy from being alone and not talking and not
I
socializing.
think, we echo that sentiment. So, yeah.
Man, it's raw. But the other thing, ooh, that's crazy. See, I talk too much, and I have ADHD, so my mind will go. It might come back. I apologize.
It's all good.
It's all good. Hey, I do want to point out though, you guys both talked about having that connection with your therapist. Don't be afraid to say that you don't have a connection with the therapist.
Right.
It's okay to say, you know what, this one wasn't right for me. Like you brought up the analogy of the wine, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I don't like this one, but I like this one. You don't know what you like and don't like until you try a few. So it's okay to say, you know what, this one, I didn't really feel that connection. Now, I personally think you should go a few times to make sure it's just not nervousness and just that whole initial dynamic of meeting somebody new. But if you truly feel like this doesn't feel right to me, you will never open up to that person and get the real help you need. You know, to me, they always say you got to feel to heal. Yeah. You know, so you got to be able to let your feelings out and be vulnerable with somebody. If you don't feel that connection with them the way you believe you can do that, try another one.
5 sessions.
So I think it's a little taboo sometimes, or in someone's mind, someone first seeking out to say, hey, I need some type of therapy, just based on what society shows you, the quick Google searches. So thankfully, like us being able to talk about it, somebody who is in a space who's never been to therapy at least can start seeing, okay, well, it's more to it than this. I can say no to this, or I can say, yeah, you're not meeting me where I think I need to be. Now, we're not saying that if you truly have issues and you're just trying to avoid someone, that's right. That's manipulation. But if someone is genuinely trying to seek therapy for whatever reason or whatever they have, I think a lot of times it's starting out, it can be scary. You just don't know that you have these options, but it's just good to be able to talk about this. So now people say, okay, I have options and this is what I need to do to start some type of journey or healing or whatever I need to get off of my chest. So
right.
Yeah.
And you know, and right now everybody's on a healing journey. You know, that's like a catchphrase in our society today is I'm on my healing journey. You know, so I think that it's more acceptable now to go to therapy to get help. You know, when I was younger, you only went if you were crazy. I think that stigma is leaving, and more people are embracing therapy.
But don't use healing as a shield to just say, oh, I'm just out here healing, and it's like it's a buzzword. It's the cool thing to say. Like, if you are truly healing, like, go through that process and do what you need to do.
And if you're healing, it will show.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah,
you don't have to say it. You don't have to advertise it.
And let me say this to my black people. I'm sure other cultures do this too, but we do it bigger than anybody I've ever seen in my life. It is great to talk to your pastor.
Oh, yeah.
It is great to talk to your homeboy. It is great to talk to your deacon at church. They are not therapists. And sometimes it's okay to get that spiritual side from them, but sometimes it is good just to sit down with a professional that has the ability, the education, and the tools to help you help yourself. So your pastor is great. I'm not saying don't talk to your pastor, but don't talk to your pastor and think that you don't need to still talk to a therapist.
Absolutely.
You got to watch your circle too. So I know the guys that are in my life also have life experience. I've been through therapy. And then some of my close friends, they've been through therapy, but they also have life lessons. I have life lessons. So I would say if you are if you're doing a combination, make sure that person is sound. And like sometimes you may go to a minister or a pastor and your business might be in the street. So be very, very careful of who you're sharing your intimate thoughts with. Be very, very careful who is in your circle, because a lot of times people will use that against you, unfortunately. So you just have to make sure that you find that right balance. And at some point, I think with the therapy, with great friends in your life or great family in your life, that's the community that I always talk about, and just being able to find that balance.
Definitely.
Here's real quick. I know we gotta move on. I just remember what I was gonna say, and I think it's in alignment with what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
I am probably one of the biggest proponents or believers in therapy. If you are ready to be there, if you're not ready to be there, please don't come.
Go there.
Please don't come. Don't come, because you're gonna waste your time.
Waste the resources.
You're gonna waste the resources, and you're gonna create this negative.
Therapeutic space.
Yeah, not negative therapeutic space, but like your idea of therapy will become negative.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, therapy don't work. This ain't real. I tried it. Like, you start to think all of these things because I went there and I didn't get fixed. But here's what you need to know. Your therapist is not there to fix you. You mentioned something, and I don't remember exactly what it was. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. The therapist is helping you help yourself.
Absolutely.
The therapist is not helping you. The therapist is helping you help yourself.
It only works if you work.
Or like I just say, they give you the tools. You know, like if you give me a screwdriver and tell me to go fix an engine, I'm gonna be out there for the rest of my life. But if you give me a toolbox and the proper tools, I can fix that engine.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what a therapist does. They give you the proper tools.
So one of the things that we'll start getting into our question. One of the things that you mentioned, so it resonated with me. My mom said, and this goes to relationships. It can go for anything, but my mom said that if you are in a relationship with someone, it is not your job to fix them.
Ooh.
It's their job to do the work. Now, you can support them. You can do whatever you need to do, but it's not your job to fix them, just like it's not their job to fix you. And I think when people actually realize that they do the work, you can have a better relationship, whether that's a relationship with your significant other, your family member, a friend, whomever it is that you're trying to build that bond with, if you want to build that bond with. But the key catchphrase is, no one can fix you but you.
Absolutely.
Right.
But like, therapy only works if you work it.
Right.
And just like earlier, you brought up the personal trainer. I mean, it's just like seeing a doctor. Like, you go to a dermatologist because you have skin issues. You go to a personal trainer because you want to learn how to work out, or you want to work out, period. Like, we are specialists in mental health. So it's just like, your pastor is excellent resource for your spiritual journey, but you might need that and a therapist. Like I said, you might need a financial coach, advisor, and a therapist. You might need a personal trainer and a therapist. You need your mama and a therapist. So it's just like,
I think you do need all of them. Let me ask this question. This is supposed to be how therapy ties into relationships, but you know, therapy is such a space that we need filled, that we've been on the topic of just therapy in general. But let me ask you this, and then we'll move to relationships. And this came from one of our listeners that wanted me to ask this. What do you do when you've lost the trust with your therapist? Like, say you had a therapist that you did trust, that you went to, that, you know, you believed in, you connect with, you vibe with, and they did something to lose that trust. What's the best option for that client or that patient, that person?
I mean, you can handle it multiple ways. If your therapist is doing good work with you, then you'll address it with your therapist.
absolutely.
But it also isn't your job to address it with your therapist. So you also have the option to leave and don't go back. But then that starts over this whole process. Now, if you lost trust with your therapist because they did something outside of the therapy room, report them.
Absolutely.
Who do you? I'm gonna let you finish, but real quick, who do you report them to? Because this person actually wanted to report them, but they didn't know where they would do that.
DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services. We are bound by an ethical code. And
APA.
Yeah, APA, and our license is the state. It's held by the state. So if your therapist is doing things that are unethical, report them ASAP.
Okay.
But
what were you
then,
gonna say?
but then you have to kind of know what's unethical and what's not, and you just can't make assumptions that your therapist. I've been in a therapist trick bag before, where I was at Charles Drew, and a lady came in and she was like, you know my baby daddy. And I was like, well, who told you I knew your baby daddy? She's like, he told me. She's like, why you didn't tell me you knew him when I was talking to you? I don't have to tell you who I know in the community because I live in the community. So why would I tell you, as you're talking about this man, like, oh, I know him. Like, that's unprofessional. So it's just like, it's unprofessional for me to disclose all of my, what I have going on. Like, I might disclose some things, and if I feel like it might resonate or help you, but it's not my therapy session, it's yours.
I think that's one of the things we run into being in a, like, not a bigger city. You know what I'm saying? And especially being black and in the mental health field. Like, it's going to be hard to, they say we're 1 degree of separation from everybody.
And that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So
especially
like,
in Omaha.
Because to me, I feel like that would have ruined our therapeutic relationship if I'm talking with you and then we're 2-3 sessions in. Oh, I know your baby daddy. Like, that's just unprofessional.
So let me ask you this. So 2 questions on that. So number 1, I think it would be good practice. You correct me if I'm wrong. For a newbie or just anyone in general seeking out therapy, if you have a list of therapists, would it be smart for them to maybe run their credentials to see what their track record is from a state? Like, it may be a red flag that pops up, and that may deter them and say, hey, maybe I'll go with these other 2 options and kind of proceed there. Is that smart practice for someone starting out or someone who already has a therapist or seeking that out?
Can you check their track record?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's public.
It's public.
Yeah, it's all public.
It's public. Yeah.
Most people aren't going to have strikes against their name, but if you just type their name in on Google, you can kind of see what they're all about. I mean, social media, what's the language that can be used on here? I need to know.
No, you can use that.
I mean, say what you need to say.
We grown.
Yeah,
we grown.
I ain't know. You know, sometimes you be getting fined and charged. Like, I ain't trying to get you fined.
No, we're going to find out together.
Hey, social media. Social media is a hell of a drug. You know what I'm saying? And I know for myself, a lot of my clients, they'll Google me. They find me through social media because that's what I do on my marketing. They find me through social media. They find me through YouTube. Find me through the IG. They find me through everything, and I do that purposefully because I want you to have as much information on me as you can, and I want you to get as big of a picture of me as you can before you walk into my room. Because then when you walk into my room, I ain't trying to toot my own horn or nothing like that. But when you walk into my room, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get my money's worth right now. Like, everything is legit. The paperwork lines up, and so yeah, by all means, like, Google your therapist name. You want to make sure they not on no type of Douglas County watch, no type of inmate tracker. No, you know what I'm saying? It's smart. It's smart.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into the nitty gritty here, the relationship aspects. First of all, the first question is, how do childhood traumas, big or small, show up in our adult relationships without us even realizing it?
Communication, the way we communicate, top answer for me. Rather, like, the language that we use, the tone that we use, like, it's like the yelling, the cussing, the fussing, as it relates to our significant others, spouses, our children. Communication, I feel like that's going to be the biggest way it shows up, like our trauma shows up in the way that we communicate, or like stonewalling, or like not wanting to talk when we're upset, or like the way we communicate. Like, top answer for me.
Honestly. Yeah. I think this question kind of it's kind of loaded. It's kind of loaded. Yeah. How does the beginning of the book impact the end of the book?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you can't have the end of the book without the beginning. Otherwise, you just got this happening here. Communication, the way you show up, the type of partner that you pick. You know what I'm saying? Many people, especially today, something that I noticed, many people pick partners not based on compatibility. Right? They pick partners based off of chemistry, and chemistry is that feeling that you have when you're around somebody. Like, you can have chemistry with people,
cute,
and because of looks, but you can have chemistry with people that you're not sexually attracted to either. Like, you two have chemistry. That's why y'all got this podcast. Y'all flow. That's chemistry, but it's not a sexual type of chemistry. I want to make that very clear. We're making that very clear.
Hey,
very clear.
Very clear. You know what I'm saying? But
I like women.
I love beautiful black women.
We're not going to do the Dame Dash and Charlemagne.
Women.
Well, we both got our fronts, so we ain't missing any front in 2 years, so we good.
I think he's gay.
But chemistry, that's what most people form relationships off of.
Absolutely.
And that can only go so far, right? And when you think about it, you talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This chemistry bonding comes from a place of survival. Like, I want to feel good right now. Chemistry feels good now, but chemistry doesn't always sustain later on down the road. You know what I'm saying? When you living in my house, you farting in my room, you're stinking up my stuff. You ain't cleaning up this, I ain't cleaning up that. You said you worked. You said you did all these things. You said you were good with money, but then we moved in and I saw that you wasn't actually good with money. You just want to spend all my money type thing. So it's like, this comes from these deficits that we had in childhood of wanting to maybe feel better or maybe not having people show up for us in certain ways. So I think childhood has a drastic impact on the type of relationships we get in later on down the road.
You touched on something about chemistry, but then thinking about codependency and thinking about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I encounter homeless / unhoused individuals every day. Every working day, I encounter unhoused individuals, and that chemistry and that codependency, which codependency is not, that's non-functioning. There are people who are unhoused, but they're still connected and bonded based off of whatever traumas or factors. Like, there's people outside living on the street together based on their chemistry and that codependency. Like, you can, if you have that chemistry and that codependency, you can take somebody to hell and back. Absolutely. Perhaps they'll be willing to go wherever you go, which is healthy in some aspects, but could be very unhealthy because you're willing to do whatever with this person.
So let me ask you this, and this is kind of one of the questions later. One of the questions was about toxic relationships. So those childhood traumas, those codependency issues, things like that, is that what keeps people in these toxic relationships and going back and forth with people they know aren't good for them?
Lack of self-worth, lack of self-identity, lack of self-love,
self-determination.
Yeah, like when you don't love yourself, you look for things that tell you you're worth it. You look for spaces, places, people. And this is even outside of just like intimate relationships with a partner. This is with anything. This is where you see young black boys joining gangs.
Absolutely.
You know, a person who is loved and valued and feels that from outside and within, they're not going to put themselves in situations that are like, we know society as a whole looks down on. You know what I'm saying? People are, actually now they do, because they put it in our music. Everybody glorifying, you ain't even from the hood, but you from the hood now. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I don't love myself. I don't love myself. And so when I don't love myself, is this toxicity really that bad? Is it that bad? And what did I see from my parents? Did my parent, is this normal actually? Do I even see this as toxic? That's a whole nother conversation. Many of the things that we talk about are toxic. People don't even see as toxic.
We're just mirroring we're just a product of our environment. We're mirroring the things that we have seen. We have been taught.
It's familiar
these
to
things.
them.
Yeah.
So what about in this scenario? You have a person who at one point in time may be sound, everything is good to go. They get into a situation with a person who may not be that stable, but people put on blinders for so long. You can it's almost like trading places. You can take a good person and flip them. Their mind can get gone for whatever reason. I'm not even saying on some drugs or alcohol abuse, anything like that, but just the emotional attachment that they have to this person. Now their focus, they get off of their grind, they get off of their hustle, whatever vision or passion, because it's this person in front of them and it's the feeling. Yeah. So you can easily have a good person who may be with a toxic person, and then they flip the script, and then now you got two toxic individuals as well. So I was kind of like, basically piggybacking off of the terminology that you're using. Somebody from the streets can easily get into the gangs because in close proximity. But I think that with anybody, like, you can be good, and if you don't keep that strength and don't keep focus or whatever your path is, you can easily fall off of that and be on something else.
You can change for the better, just like you can change for the worse, just like you change for
That's
the
a
better.
fact.
Yeah. Here's an analogy that I like to give to people along this topic of relationships, and they're like, well, why is my relationship toxic? Or how will I know going into a new relationship with my clients when I'm working with them through breakups? How do I know if the next person won't be toxic? And I give it to them like this, and I'm gonna pose this to you. All right. You don't know me from a can of paint. You never seen me. You don't know anything about me. And I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? invest $200,000 into my clothing business. What are you gonna say?
If I don't know you, I'm gonna say, hey, brother, I appreciate the hustle, but right now I can't do it for you.
Yeah, peace be unto you.
Peace be unto me, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's that easy. It's that
Facts.
easy. You're not gonna give me $200,000 to invest into this clothing program. But what if I'm like, nah, man, for real, like I'm good at my business. I got the keys, man. Like, you'll make your money back real fast. Like, let's do this. This is a lick. Come on, let's do this. You still gonna say no?
Absolutely, I'm gonna say no
Why?
because I don't know that person.
What would increase my chances of getting $200,000 from you?
First of all, if somebody is coming up to me and you don't know me from a can of paint, if you have an actual business plan, a prospectus, something that I can actually look at, view at, see, okay, well, if I do invest this from a certain, if I just remove you from it, okay, this looks sound. I may go talk to my financial advisor, an attorney. Okay, this is good. I mean, we're legally bound.
You got to prove to me you're legitimate.
Right.
Right.
For sure.
I gotta prove to you that I'm legitimate.
Proof.
Yep.
And that's how most of us don't handle dating.
Mm.
Our prerequisites for dating are, at least from a man's point of view, do they got a fat ass, face card valid, smell good, look good, yada yada, sex good, whatever it is. Like those are the and on the women's side, he got money, he gonna take me out on a date, do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, our prerequisites are
low vibrational stuff.
It's very low, and so it's
Yeah.
like
The looks fade.
yeah, it all fades. Like, we're not basing whether or not we're getting in a relationship with somebody on things that are lasting.
Right.
They're very fleeting things, and then you get into the relationship, you start to bond with them. Y'all start doing what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even use condoms. What's a condom anymore? Like, I got 5 kids. What's a condom anymore? You know what
You
I'm
got
saying?
5 kids?
I got 5 kids.
Oh,
man.
maybe shoot the club up.
Shooting it up. Hey, I just had my vasectomy consultation.
Hey,
Listen.
I got one because I got 7 kids.
Hey,
Well,
you
between
talking about
both of
five?
y'all,
Hey,
y'all
bro.
got a
Hey, we
basketball
got a
team,
full
a football
squad.
team.
Well,
Man,
three-
I just need the owner.
Well, for me, 3 of mine are my bonus children, so
There we go.
4 biological. But yeah, I went and got our mics are tripping today, y'all. So forgive me if you see me doing
Yeah,
this.
this is crazy work.
But yeah. Hey, on the side note, man, it's a great thing going against Nip. You can
Hey.
shoot the club up safely.
I've been afraid for years to do it. Honestly, I'm like, man, am I gonna feel different?
Don't be
Is my energy gonna go away? Like,
No.
I be thinking about
Yeah,
all my guys
yeah.
that are just sitting down there. You know what I'm saying? I walk around with these every day. They're a
Yeah.
part of me. They're a part of me, and sometimes, like, I intentionally get them out of me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, with my wife.
I'm
like, dang, I'm
So you're married, so you don't have to worry about this right now.
yeah.
But just whenever you think about I shouldn't do it, just have a dream about child support. And then you're going to be like, you know what? I'm in there
I'ma do it.
tomorrow. Yeah, I'm doing it.
No, I'm doing it. I had my consultation. It's only $400 that I gotta pay. They said it's 30 minutes. I told my wife, I was like, hey, the doctor said that I can't do nothing for the whole weekend. I have to put my legs up. You have to handle everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
but it's only for a few days you're back to business. But and to be honest, on the side note, especially when you're married, it is so much safer and easier for you to do it than her. So I commend you for doing that.
Yeah.
But let's get back to
get back to what you're saying. So I think it's both of you. I think it's very, very important for someone who is considering on dating to have your standards. We've talked about this in the past to say, okay, well, this is my passion. This is my purpose. When I'm seeking out somebody who I think I may want to get intimate with, I think I may want to start a relationship with, do they have these qualities? Obviously, nobody's going to check everything off the box. But if they have higher marks than none, then I think that's a good starting point. But again, it boils down to communication. It boils down to opening up your mouth and just saying, like, hey, this is where I think I'm going. It may change, but this is where I'm considering on going. You listen to where she's going. You meet somewhere in the middle, and if it's a good fit, it's a good fit. Yeah. And if the looks are so to where it's like, man, I'm mesmerized, you may want to take a step back because it's that mirage that's out in the out. You could touch it, but it's like, should you really be touching it?
Well, here's the thing, though. So relationships change. Like, that's a thing that people have a hard time fathoming. Like, so I've been with my significant other like 16 years, and we got together, we were 22 and 24, and it was definitely toxic. However, I ended up marrying him, and he's a totally different person. I'm a totally different person. The thing, we broke up, gotten back together, and you have to decide not to be toxic.
Right.
You have to make a decision that you do not want to be this toxic person. like, but the thing is, when you're toxic, it just don't be in relationship. You carry that toxicity from relationship to relationship, rather it be at your job, your family. Like, you have to decide that I do not want to be this person anymore. I think that, like, with relationships, sometimes things get hard for people, and I'll just fuck. Excuse me.
Oh, you
No,
good?
you're fine.
You
You're
good?
fine.
You good?
We're grown.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah,
we're grown.
fuck this, fuck them, fuck the relationship. I don't want to do this anymore because it's just hard. It got hard. But if you can actually get over that hump, you can see a beautiful thing later on, a brighter day. You know, I think that's why some of our elders, they've been together for so long, because they got over that.
Well,
There's a whole thing, Peyton. What's the relationship thing?
What you talking about?
It's like
it's divorce.
no.
Oh, what is
it's like maybe like
I didn't know.
it's like the honeymoon phase.
Oh,
It's four
yeah.
four
Oh, yeah,
steps.
yeah.
It's like the honeymoon, and then like at the end, it's it's kind
divorce?
of like, no, it's actually
Said
like
all marriages end in divorce.
I know it's actually
don't.
like, I can't remember what it is, but it's like healing. Like, we made it through all this bullshit.
Yeah.
I will say this though, I do think it's important, because I think a lot of times couples decide, hey, you know what, we're having a hard time. We need therapy.
Facts.
We need therapy, and they forget that sometimes I need therapy.
Come on.
Like, I think sometimes you have to realize that go get therapy on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You get therapy on your own, and then we can still do therapy together.
Absolutely.
You know, but I think they only focus on the couples therapy, and they get these tools to help their relationship, but they don't get the tools to help themselves individually.
But again, it still goes back to, you can have separate therapy, but do you notice with your clients sometimes that you run the risk of somebody saying or being fictitious on this side, and this person really wants to work, and it's just like, okay, you doing this just to check this off the box, but it's like, now when we come together, nothing's gonna change.
Hey, you know, how do you handle that? That's a great thing that you brought that up. Because what happens when you have one person that's like, I want therapy, I want help, I want us to be healed, and the other person like, man, I'm just here because they told me to
Going
come.
through the motions.
So as a therapist, we're actually trained to not be judgmental, but we're trained to hold our clients or individuals in services accountable. So, like, if you can sense that somebody is being full of shit, or they are not being transparent or vulnerable, as a therapist, I'm gonna be like, I think there's more to that. I think you're not telling me something. I think that you can go a little deeper. Like, we can usually pick that up, though.
Do you allow for one session with the significant other, just
Absolutely.
so you get a baseline? Because I think that would be great. Like, this person's been going for 5 weeks, and you like, okay, this sounds good. Maybe they're doing some work, but then you invite the spouse without the other person in the room just to get a baseline, and you like, man, what in the hell did I get into?
So with couples therapy, family therapy, I adopt this model where I want to see everybody individually, and I want to see everybody together, because I need to get an understanding of who you are individually, how you function when you're by yourself. Because when you're with your family, or when you're with your significant other, you're going to present much differently
Backstage.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's necessary. But to you guys' original question, where it was, if one person is bought in and the other person is like, fuck this, like, I'm just here because they want me to be here. I'm honest with people, and I'm straight up, and what you see is what you get. And I will tell a client, like, if you're not invested in this,
Then don't
like,
be here.
don't come. Straight up, like, don't come. Like, y'all wasting your money. I don't want to take your money. I'm not in the business of taking people's money just to have it. You know, I charge a good price for therapy, and I could make a lot of money if I wanted to just take people's money, but I'm not in that business.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, I'm not about to waste y'all time, but y'all also not going to waste my time if you are not ready to be here. Because if one person is willing and the other person is not, you're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
Like, it takes two people in a relationship to want the dynamic to work, not one. And if there's only one, then y'all have some talking that y'all need to do. I like to use a Likert scale, which is just a basic scale, 1 to 5, 1 through 10, with couples. And I'll ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, 10 being like, I'm bought in 100%. Like, where are you at with this relationship? Any answer that I get under 5, I'll let them know couples therapy probably is not what you want to be doing right now, because you're not invested in this. Any type of discussions, any type of processing, any type of vulnerability that we want to achieve, you're not going to be willing to be there because your willingness is low. And if your willingness and you're checked out. So like, why are you spending this money on something that you are? That's like putting $100,000 in a '94 Cavalier that has nothing inside of it. Like, why am I spending a '94 Cavalier? Not even you could put in a Impala or some SS or something. Like, this is a waste of money. Why am I investing this into this? Don't do that. Don't do that.
And just like our clients have the freedom to fire us, we can fire our clients, meaning that we can just be like, this isn't working, I'm going to discharge you because I don't feel like you're ready for therapy. Hard conversation to have, but at some point I start checking out as a therapist because it's not going anywhere.
So is that so I guess so that actually is funny. So at the beginning I had two questions. So that second question was, when it comes to conflict of interest, is it one of those things, like, for example, you gave the analogy or the story that somebody said, oh, well, you know, my baby dad or whatnot.
He told her that too.
So at some point, if it's one of those things where you say, hey, we've been doing a couple sessions, I feel like there's a conflict of interest going, so we can't do this anymore. Is that something that's common practice in your guys' profession?
Yeah, that's an ethical discharge.
Absolutely.
So excuse me. So there's unethical discharges as well too. As therapists, we have this thing called do no harm to our clients. So if a client is coming and they're seeking services, we ethically have to provide the services if we have the licensure, if we have the capability or the know-how to treat whatever the issue is. And so if we do, we offer the services. But if there comes a point where, you know, you're running into a conflict of interest and we disclose it and we see that that's going to impede on treatment, 100%, yeah, like, maybe we should get you another therapist. And what I'll do and what we ethically have to do is we have to give them other referrals for other therapists and at the end of the day, ultimately give them the option to not want to be there. But I mean, like,
and just like every once in a while, based on like your good person or like your relationship with people, like people will come to you and be like, Rose, I want you to be my therapist. I'd be like, no, I can't be. I can't be your therapist.
Can't do that. Yeah. Especially family, all that. Yeah,
like we're absolutely family, absolutely. But it's just like I'm just too close. Like, we're not supposed to be friends with people on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So if you ever been my Facebook friend, I can't be your therapist. I got 5,000. I'm constantly deleting
That's
people.
a violation.
That is in violation.
Oh wow, I wouldn't have guessed.
That's
that.
why
Like
put
I
on
get
professional mode.
Yeah, like I get a lot of hits from social media and people like knowing who I am, but I'm not really supposed to pick up people from social media, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So like somebody could be a follower or somebody, but you may not know them, and so somebody can be a follower, and it could be one of those things where it's like, oh, I follow you, I don't personally know you. That's fine. It's when you know this person or they're following you, that's where the conflict resides.
Well, the thing is that somebody could add me as a friend and be following me to what is the word I'm trying to fill me out, and then they'll come in the inbox and be like, yeah, I want you to be my therapist. I'm like, you haven't been here too long.
Okay. So it's a time expiration date.
I would assume that that's not somebody you really know, so that wouldn't be a violation. I would think more like somebody I know is like somebody that I've maybe hung with, had conversations with, things like that.
They made some type of a judgment about me. They basically made a judgment about me that, like, I kind of want to kind of be fresh with people. Like, I want to come in and make a first impression with you. Like, you can take like what somebody has said about, like, somebody will say, hey, I'm looking for a therapist on Facebook. We get tagged, okay? Mm-hmm. And then somebody will either jump in the inbox or send me a friend request. If they jump in the inbox, I'll do that. But you send me a friend request in order to vet me, and you done been for 1 month. I probably don't want to no more. I probably don't. The
eggs are spoiled.
I don't know what your intentions are with me.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. So I'll give you a referral though.
Let me ask you this. Because, you know, right now in society in general, there's these big tag words that get thrown around. You know, narcissist, toxic, just all these words. How often
gaslighting.
Do you have gaslighting? How often do you have clients where you have to explain to them, hey, that's not narcissism or that's not gaslighting and things like that?
Often, and I think it's actually the opposite with gaslighting. The big one is narcissism.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Everybody's a narcissist.
Everybody a narcissist. Everybody swear they with a narcissist. And here's my thing.
And bipolar.
Bipolar.
Yeah, they're bipolar.
They get mad so quick, and then and I'm like, that's not bipolar. That you just got emotional instability.
If you didn't get diagnosed with bipolar disorder, because that's real,
It's
like
super real.
stop saying it.
And a borderline personality disorder. That's deep.
That one,
Right.
that one's easier to see though. You know what I'm saying? Like you can maybe see that.
So we can tell all our listeners, mainly ladies, stop saying he's a narcissist. Stop saying that he's
They're gonna tear you up in
oh
the
man,
comments.
I know, but you hear it all the time.
But
That's true.
narcissist. I mean, that is actually a condition. That's
It-
it's narcissistic personality disorder.
It is. I just
So
want them to
who-
understand
who-
because
who
Narcissism is not a
diagnosed that?
symptom. Narcissism is not a symptom. It's actually a whole
Correct.
disorder.
you hear that, people.
So the question is, who is the person to diagnose someone being a narcissist?
a girlfriend.
Professionally.
Oh, okay.
I'm
They're-
asking for the two professional opinions.
Therapist, psychologist,
Okay.
psychiatrist. Maybe if you have a specialized MD who has some type of psychiatric certification or something attached. Here's the
Can we
thing.
hit that message button?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Message.
Yeah, listen to that right there.
Come on.
So it ain't you, Shaquita, Shaquanda, Shalonda,
Hey,
Jackie.
She gonna kill you.
Here's the thing.
Not my homegirl Shalonda, just a random one.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
It rhymed.
When you have somebody who is consistently saying that they're with a narcissist, and I warn all of my clients about this.
They
If-
narcissists.
Say it one more time for me.
They probably are the narcissists.
They're probably the narcissist.
Facts.
Because you're remaining in this situation and you're continuously calling somebody a narcissist. Most of the time, if you're in a narcissistic relationship, you don't even know it.
Facts.
You don't know it. You just know that you don't feel like yourself.
Right.
You look at your partner and they can do no wrong, but you feel like this invalidation
Right.
in your relationship. You don't understand it. You typically don't understand that you're in a narcissistic relationship until you're out of it and you're starting to heal and process through it. Because one, that partner will create such a facade and such an image of themselves, the narcissistic partner, that you believe that everything you did in the relationship, like you destroyed the relationship.
So is there a clinical definition that you could provide to our viewers on so they can stop using it, misappropriating it? Is there between the both of you? What does that look like? What does a clinical diagnostic definition look like of narcissism?
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into narcissism, but I think we can boil it down to just this. A person who is dealing with narcissistic personality disorder, typically early on in childhood, either had heavy deficiency from a parental figure, like heavy deficiency. Either their parents didn't love them at all and they were seeking out the attention, or their parents overly loved them and they had all of the attention. And so now they have this complex where it's
Inflated sense of self.
boom, inflated sense of self, where it's like me. I can do no wrong. It's all about me. Which leads into adulthood where it looks like, again, I never do anything wrong. Anytime something messes up or something
No
happens,
accountability.
there's zero accountability. You know how like in some situations, like I might think I did something wrong, but I didn't do anything wrong. But then I start to think about it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could have. A narcissist will not think about it at all. There is no self-reflection. There is zero introspection. It's like if something's going wrong, it's you, and I don't know why y'all are all bad. Like y'all need to fix yourselves.
Like basically, like I could pour this water on the floor purposely and then act as if like
Jason
I
did it.
didn't- or act like I
I'ma
just
ask you to
I didn't do it.
I'm gonna tell you, you gotta go.
No, like I
Security.
Yeah.
This is my floor.
Like I didn't do that. I don't know who did that.
Matter of fact, yeah, you gotta get out of here if you pull it.
But I mean, no accountability, inflated sense of self. Just that takes a lot of processing through to get through. First of all, to really understand that you are exhibiting those symptoms, but then actually to process through and try to change that way of thinking.
Can somebody just realize that without therapy? Like, can I be a narcissist and be like,
Yeah, TikTok.
dang, you know what? I'm a narcissist. I didn't realize it, but I'm a narcissist. Can I come to that conclusion?
Learning
on my own?
about yourself, right?
Yeah. TikTok will diagnose you.
Yeah, so will your girlfriend
So here's the thing. So
or boyfriend. I guess
so-
guys do it too.
So viewers, going forward, if you claim that someone that you're messing with or you're married to is a narcissist and you're constantly saying it, chances are it might be you.
You're the narcissist.
And guess what? And if it's not you, quote unquote, and you're still dealing with this person, it's probably you, and you need to remove yourself from that situation and go seek some good therapists like our guest today.
Disclaimer: we're not victim blaming here.
Right.
That's
No.
not.
This is no name specific. This
Yeah.
is just general talk.
general talk.
Shaquanda. No, I'm just. I don't even know a Shaquanda. I'm just joking.
But I did bring up TikTok just as we were talking about this, and I was being sarcastic. But like, social media is a great way to get information. However, you have to be very careful with what we get from social media. I think that a lot of times people depend on social media for almost everything, even as it relates to their mental health. And if you really are struggling with your mental health, you really just need to get in somebody's office that's a professional. It's been a lot of TikTok diagnosis, and just like when I hear that narcissistic personality disorder, my individuals come into my office and I seen this thing on TikTok. I was like, I don't even want to hear about that. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. This is kind of in a different direction, but when men break up, get out of relationships, we suffer heartbreak, right? A lot of times men are told, the best way to get over somebody is to get somebody new. So we'll get out there and we'll be, smashing all kinds of people and do all these things. What's a good way for a man to deal with heartache?
You got to deal with it, right? Heartache is grief.
Absolutely.
Grief has process. Anytime you lose someone, you lose something, you lose someplace, you know what I'm saying? You're going to go through this grieving process. Kubler-Ross is the individual's name who created the cycle of grief, or the stages of grief. There's 5 of them. So and it's not in this specific order, but I'm going to just name them off. Anger, denial, bargaining, depression, and the ultimate stage, which is the stage that, if you understand this is the one that you want to work towards, and that's acceptance, right? So when we look at us as men, or even women, when we lose this relationship that we had this strong tie to, going out and just going to smash stuff, all that's doing is covering up this grieving cycle. It's making me not feel, it's making me mask. And there's so many areas and aspects of our life that when we grow up, childhood, right, tying this all in, when we go through childhood and we have these things that we never process through and we're trying to mask, all it does is it extends the life cycle of the actual thing that we have to experience. You know what I'm saying? And then that's where, in this situation of, I just broke up and now I'm going to all these rebounds. I look like Dikembe Mutombo out here grabbing all the boards. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But not healing. And
Yeah.
you said something important. You said, you got to go through it. You just got to feel. And we said earlier, you got to feel to heal. Like, I have a friend that's going through a divorce. I went through one. Brandon went through one. We know what that's like. But she'll hit me up and she'll be like, man, I'm just so emotional today. And I'll say, that's okay.
Absolutely.
I said, it's okay. I said, whatever you feel, you're allowed to feel, and feel it in that moment. Like, that's a part of getting through it.
I think to piggyback onto that, I think the biggest thing when I went through my divorce is like in essence, you lose someone, you could potentially lose yourself. And I think a lot of times, I think for me, that was I got to a breaking point to where I remember showering one day, and we were still technically married, but showering one day, and I felt like, man, I'm crying profusely. Come to find out, I think it was a nervous break. But the first thing that I did, instead of going into a shell, instead of not expressing, I'm a very private person when it comes to relationships, and that's just the way that I roll. But I hit up 4 of my close friends, and I was like, yo, 911, I got an emergency. They're like, hey, what's going on? But they all rallied around me, my community, and we all went out. We were out for about 4 hours, and they allowed me to talk. They listened. They were shocked that this was even happening. Heck, I was shocked that it was happening, but they allowed that safe space for me, not being judgmental, because in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm a failure. I feel embarrassed. I didn't have anything to do with this, but it was what it was. But I had to go through that. And that was the start of the work that I had to do for myself to get me back. And a part of that was going to the gym, get myself back mentally, continuously staying prayed up, talking about it, therapy, all these different things helped me get to a certain space. And then once I got there, and I'm a pretty strong-minded individual, but anybody can break. You can have the
Absolutely.
strongest person in the world
Absolutely.
that can break, but I wanted to get back to me. And I seen my son, and I was like, hey, I got to make sure that I'm here for him. And I didn't lose myself, thankfully. So when the news was broke to him, I consoled him. I made sure that he was straight, made sure constantly talk. But I say all this to say that you can get through whatever you're going through. Just make sure that you put yourself first, because if you don't put yourself first, you can't be good for anybody else. And that was the biggest thing for me that got me over that hump. And today, I mean, almost 5 years later, like, man, I'm feeling great. I feel like I'm thriving. I've had different career, like a major career change going to entrepreneurship. And like I said, sky's the limit, man. I just feel great.
You got all the women in my DMs
Well,
asking about you.
Well, the thing is with grief, especially heartache, divorce, breakup, is that you're grieving a person that's not deceased.
Facts.
So, like, the person you're still going to be seeing, and you might share children with them. Like, you're still going to be seeing them, and you might still share children with them. So it's like, it's almost like I lost my mama. She's gone. And I'm dealing with her just being gone. But then you have somebody that's still around here, and you almost even sometimes feel played
reminder.
with. Yeah, yeah. And it's like, but you still have to grieve the loss of that person without that person being deceased.
And you have to continue. So even years later, it's one of those things where I tell them I don't get overly emotional about it, because a part that was a chapter that closed. We have a beautiful son together. But I still had to move on with my life, and that chapter is closed, and I make sure that I do the best that I can for my son. We try to do the best that we can from a partnership perspective for my son, but then outside of that, yeah, you got to live your life, you got to do your thing, and you got to just move forward. But again, it goes back, it ties all this into life experience. Sometimes in life, you have to go through things to understand it, to get out on the other side. And a lot of people, they're afraid of that, what that experience looks like, but you just got to go through it.
Well, and nobody wants to hurt or feel pain, right?
Right.
But I tell people all the time, when you go through a breakup, if you truly love that person, like if you was in a whether it was toxic or not, if you truly love that person, if you truly care about that person, you are going to hurt.
Absolutely.
You are going to feel pain. You can delay it by smashing other people and seeing if somebody else can you can delay it, but you cannot deny it. You are going to feel that pain. So why not go through it earlier and get the healing where there's a light on the other side of that pain versus trying to cover it up, mask it, and then going through it later, and then have it damaging another relationship. Because one thing that I'm sure you guys know a lot about is trauma bonding.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so you don't get the healing that you need, and then you end up taking those traumas into another relationship where you actually trauma bond with somebody, and
extra
now,
toxic. Yeah,
now it's even worse than the one that you were trying to get over in the first place.
So can we use some real life stuff that's happening with celebrities with this? Can I post
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Okay,
Their
a
life
couple
is
things
public.
that we just talked about. So we have Papoose and Clarissa Shields. Papoose is supposed to still be legally married to Remy Ma, but he has latched on to Clarissa Shields. Why do we do that? Why did that happen?
That's a
tough one.
So that's a catch-22.
I don't know their personal.
So like
But
I mean, from the
just
outside
like,
looking in,
Remy was doing bro there.
So from the outside looking in, I think what ends up happening is two factors. On one sense of it, maybe the divorce proceeding is being drug out and people have been moved on. So yeah, you're gonna do your thing. On the other side, I think sometimes people are not fully done with something, but then they're out here in the streets testing the water, which leads to what you were talking about, the toxic relationship. And you did not close this chapter off before getting into something else. And one thing that we all need to realize, especially living here in Omaha, Nebraska, the AIDS rates, the STD rates, pregnancy, all these different things, you're not immune to that, any of that stuff. Child support, which is crazy because you'll get somebody, you could get a guy, you can get a female who could be in a marriage, out here doing Lord knows whatever, and maybe one night they feel some type of way, and the person in that relationship is not out here on something else, and then boom, they got something because you got something. People aren't really thinking these things through. Like, if you're done with someone, be done with them. Try to be amicable as possible, and move the hell on and keep it moving.
But why don't we give ourselves that space
to heal?
And that's what I was thinking about Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. She's pregnant with this guy, and she's still married to Offset. Why do we not give ourselves enough time to do ourselves and see what we are about?
Because nobody wants to grow old alone. And I think a lot of times, we want that connection because, man, let's be honest, right? Mm-hmm. When you see a happy, healthy relationship, we all crave that. I don't care how people talk about I'm independent, I don't need no man, or how dudes are like, you know what, I got all these women. Everybody wants, because
it's a good feeling to have.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be in a loving relationship. But like in my situation, I got divorced. I met a woman really fast and felt head over heels for her. And probably gotten it too soon. And then when that situation ended, I jumped right into another situation that wasn't right for me.
After you a serial relationship guy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you didn't
know?
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Hit that message button.
Hey, hold on. Message. And this one. Hey, listen.
You light skin. He out here.
He light skin.
Right. Drake. He on his Drake. He on his Drake.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you something. When I got my divorce, my ex made a comment. She was mad and she was like, "You just a loving ass nigga." And I was like, "Dang, I'm being crucified for being a lover boy." But yeah, I'll be on my Drake stuff. But all jokes aside, after that second relationship, I looked at myself and I was like, "Wait a minute, now this is becoming a pattern." And even though I felt I was healed, was I truly, if I was jumping back-to-back relationships? So that's why I haven't been in a relationship since. I really pulled myself out. I'm not out here smashing a bunch of women and doing
maybe
all these different things.
One or two.
Twos and fews.
Hey, listen. I gave my life to the Lord.
What? That's her name?
No.
Oh, okay.
But all jokes aside, I decided that I need to step back and truly be healed before I go out here and damage somebody else, trying not to be damaged, trying to not damage myself.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to relationships, like when you end one, you know how back in the day, like Steve Harvey had women out here telling men, I got a 90-day rule, you can't get none for 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you end a relationship, we should have a 90-day or a 6-month rule to where it's like, I cannot get into another relationship for 90 days or for 6 months because I need to really take time to myself.
That's smart.
And make sure that I'm healed.
Yeah, y'all be trying to smash for 90 days straight though. Instead,
well,
y'all got a 90-day rule.
I do have a vasectomy.
but I bring that up just to say, like, that's not healthy for us or the person that we are going to carry on with. And are we doing this to flex, on our exes, or like, what are we doing?
And that's the thing too. A lot of times people will try to jump into a relationship to be like, "Oh, I really didn't need you," and it's like, well, if that other person is healed and on their journey, it's not even going to matter. You literally are doing it.
Message
for yourself.
Yeah, that flexing on the ex and what you're saying, that's a message. That's
and it's unfortunate that it happens, but I think to your point, I wish it was some type of rule where, okay, if you get out of a serious relationship and you've spent time with a person, man, give yourself some time to heal. Give yourself just a thought. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, I love my peace. I do not want to break it for anybody. I love my space, but if I'm sharing it with someone, then that means that person is very special to me, and we gonna share this space together, good, bad, ugly, everything in between, and try to be the best that we can be for each other. If we're adding value, that's a good relationship. If I'm the only one adding value and she's taking, or vice versa, get up out that.
Well, and like for me, I learned that I wasn't all the way healed, and I still had some healing to do, based on the women I disqualified. What I mean is, I thought because, I was over it, I wasn't hurt, I wasn't sad, I did work, I went to therapy, I talked to my pastor, I did all these things to quote unquote heal, that I was good, I was ready to date again, I was out here. But I realized that I was disqualifying women because they reminded me of attributes that my ex used to hurt me. And so now it's like, oh, no, what? I'm going to avoid that hurt. And I realized that, man, if I'm really out here making decisions based on the avoidance of being hurt, am I really healed? Mm-hmm. And it made me step back and say, I got a little more healing to do.
So is it something that they said or they did to you that took you back to a place that your ex did to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean. So like for me, there was red flags I ignored, right, with my ex. And I said I'll never do that again. Mm-hmm. I'll never ignore those red flags again. But then what I realized is I was giving nobody grace. Like, because I was so hell bent on making sure I see all these red flags that everything became a red flag. And to me, I think that was more out of a place of hurt, you know, and the unhealed parts of me. And so I had to step back and like really evaluate myself and say, okay, well, you know what? I can't just disqualify everybody because they do something that reminds me of what hurt me in the past.
So what helped me, I think, get through on the other side, one of the things that helped when I was married, I told myself, because I was at that point, I was like, yo, I love my wife at the time. I really want to be in this relationship. But if it doesn't work, I know that I'm not going to project anything on the next person to disqualify them if this person is truly for me. So I kept telling myself that I would write it down, make sure that I'm memorizing it. So I gave someone a fair shot the next time I got into a relationship or when I get into a relationship. And I think that was one of the things that helped me, is not somebody else's fault, downfall, whatever you want to say it. You can't project that on the next person, because you, number one, you may block your blessing and miss out on a good opportunity. And to your point, maybe you aren't truly healed. Maybe it's not time. Why is it that you are trying to jump into a relationship? Maybe you feel lonely. Maybe it's just it's like a habit. When you break that habit, that was a bad habit, and you move forward and you think with a clear mind, I think that's where the silver lining is, and that's where you know, okay, I am fully ready, because now the past is the past, and I'm ready to move forward.
Well, and I am now.
Yeah,
like
yeah. No, I'm just
but
saying,
I had to take that time.
just in general.
But it's like Peyton said when he talked about, you know, people don't realize, you know, being a narcissist. I didn't realize that I wasn't healed in those areas until I realized that I wasn't healed in those areas.
Right. Life experience.
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing is, it's like, I think that a lot of the time we give into like our basic needs of, you know, sex, and, you know, I guess you will feed that if you crave that, right?
That's where the discipline comes in.
Yeah, you have to be disciplined, or you have to establish some boundaries, or maybe the terms of engagement with people, or even perhaps buying a prostitute. Because I'm just saying, because
$40.
Well, and that sounds funny.
In an hour.
And that sounds funny and illegal. I'm not sure.
Go to Figueroa Ave.
But once you start sticking your penis in women, you can't expect them to just like not want to have penis.
So is it like that for women too? On the flip side, okay. Just so, I mean, we want to
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, and I think too that we have to keep.
We're humans.
I think we have to be honest with ourselves too. Like I've had women that are like, "Hey, let's have sex," and I'm like, "No, I don't want the problems that brings."
Come on.
And they're like, "No, it's not gonna bring no problems. I know what it is." I'm like, "Yeah, you know what it is until your
never
heart
what
get
it.
involved."
Yeah.
What do I say all the time? Men use love to get sex, and women use sex to get love. So a lot of times, if a woman wants to be with you, she'll give you her body thinking like, you know, oh, he'll feel the way I feel, or she may even think that, hey, yeah, we just having fun. This is just sex. But once you start being intimate with somebody over and over again, feelings develop.
That's right.
So you got to be. I'm honest with myself. Like I know I'm Drake. I know I'm on my lover boy. Listen, man, I write.
You got the heart
in
your.
Listen, this is no lie. I write poetry. I give roses, and
Drake.
man, I do all of that stuff. I know that about me. So I'm not gonna be intimate with a bunch of people knowing that I create those bonds.
Hey, Drake is bad for the society on that aspect, so I wouldn't even claim that.
But now, because I was hurt, you're not getting no flowers. You're not getting nothing. No love songs.
So
no
you know,
poetries, until we're in a committed relationship.
So you know he created a whole generation of that simp mentality.
I wouldn't say simp.
Here's the thing. Listen to a lot of the lyrics, and it's basically you're trying to pay or buy something because you want that, and it's just like that's sending the wrong message. Be a real man. If you like what you like, go spit your game, say what you need to say. If it don't work out, okay, cool. I'm not, if somebody tell me no, I don't care how fine she is, I'm not about to go to my bank and go get a check and just write it to be with her.
I don't know what we talking about right now.
Drake.
Yeah, no, I ain't doing it.
Okay, so you ain't Drake then. All right then.
No, I'm just talking, I'm just saying I was on my lover boy era.
Okay, I got you.
That's all. Yeah, listen. Hey, I'm going to tell you this, and this is real talk. This is on a side note. I come from the era where it's tricking if you got it. So I don't believe in that. You know, I ain't going to no bank accounts and doing none of that.
Absolutely not.
Nah, yeah, that ain't it.
Kill
I
that
pay
noise.
for your therapy. So you can be healed and we
I
can
ain't
heal
Nah, I
together.
ain't gonna do
Right,
that.
ho?
Nah, you
No.
got that's
No,
what your
no,
that's
we
what
be
your
hooked.
health care plan is for.
Pay for an escort.
she
Yeah.
might be onto something for y'all.
Yeah, no.
Not me, but for y'all.
That's y'all. That's y'all.
I want to add,
Y'all.
I want to add this though, real quick, just along the topic of knowing when is the right time to start to get back into relationships. And I'm gonna be quite honest, and I tell this to my clients: there really is never a right time to either start or stop. There really isn't too early or too late. You'll know you're ready. Clients don't like this, but I want to, like, I think it's imperable. Is that the right word? I think so. I think it's important that everybody gets to this point at the moment that you can forgive your ex for whatever it is that you're holding on to. Then you're ready,
Oh, for sure. You've moved on.
because now you're not carrying all of this emotional tie to a person that you are trying to disconnect from, so that you can be fully present in the next thing. Because when you're holding on to so many of us think like, oh, fuck them. Like, I don't fuck with them. I hope they could fucking burn in hell.
I
whatever.
hate them.
All these different things, which are very real. And I'm not here to like shame anybody for feeling that, but we think that is an indicator that I no longer want to be with
Nah,
them.
that's a
Nah,
strong
that's a
emotion. You still
strong
got soul ties.
hate.
there.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
it's a strong tie there.
My buddy said all the time, it take a whole lot of love to hate somebody that much.
Absolutely.
does.
And so I
Indifference.
it's no secret that I went through a divorce, a bad divorce, and my ex did a lot, an absolute lot, that was hurtful to me, right? And I have people that say, well, what happened, this, that, and the other. You won't find one Facebook post where I'm downing or bashing my ex. You won't find. I don't go to random people and be like, well, she did this to me, or if I'm on a date with a woman, she did this to me. I truly wish my ex the best, because if for no other reason, her being in a happy, healthy relationship benefits my children. So I would never wish harm or I hate her or anything like that. You know what? Do I wish she would have handled the ending better? And of course I do. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was what it was. It ended, and I found peace within myself to where I can move on and be in a happy relationship. People don't realize when you hold on to that, you're not hurting anybody but yourself. Because
Right.
you're sabotaging your next relationship, because there's no way possible to be truly open and vulnerable and give yourself to somebody when somebody else still has a big piece of you.
The goal is indifference, meaning that you don't love them, you don't hate them, they're like, whatever happens to
renting
them.
space in
Yeah.
your head is not the way to go. Like, get past that, figure it out, go talk to the therapist, get back in the gym, whatever you need to do. But once you, like you said, once you reach that status to where it doesn't even matter. At the end of the day, go be jolly, go be merry, do what you're gonna do. It doesn't affect me, and I don't look at you any different, and I don't have any animosity or
At all.
hatred towards you. Like, it's a part of life. Like, sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't, but stay grounded, stay true to yourself, stay prayed up with whoever you pray to, and get back into the game on your own path.
Absolutely.
You know what? On that note, I think we've come to an end here today with this episode. I think it was a great episode. Again, I'm very big on therapy, so I want to thank you guys for coming.
Yes.
Before we leave, I do want to give you guys an opportunity to let the people know where they can find you at if they're interested in therapy, or if they want to check out your podcast, or just whatever you want to share.
Yes. Again, so my name is Peyton Hogan. That's PaytonHogan. Peyton like Walter, not like Manning. Okay. You can catch me on Instagram, Facebook. Just type in my name, or if you want the ad, it's at the real Peyton Hogan. At real Peyton Hogan. Also, my YouTube is at real Peyton Hogan as well. But if you just type in Peyton Hogan, you're gonna find it. I post a podcast every single week, sometimes twice a week if it's a good week. So tap in with me there. And if you want to book a therapy session, like I said, I got 11 therapists. 8 of them are black. 2 of us are males. That's going to be at www.bearcompanycounseling.com. And that's bear like the animal, BEARCOMPANY, counseling, COUNSELING.com.
And before we move to Mrs. Rose, why'd you choose Bear?
I'm going to give you the short story. So when I first started posting content back in 2020, 5 years now, 2020, I was thinking of a name, and I'm like, I don't want to just call it Therapy with Peyton, or Peyton, it just don't roll off the tongue. And so I'm like, okay, therapy, that sounds corny. Therapy, yeah, it's corny. How about Therapy with Barry B? I don't know who Barry B is, but everybody who's on social media or on the internet got some type of moniker or some type of name that they go under. And so that's what I would create my content as, now thank you for tuning in to another morning therapy with Barry B. Then about a year later, I was like, motherfucker, my name is not Barry B. People were like, oh, Barry, we love your content. We love your I'm like, I'm not Barry. My name is Peyton. This shit is dead. And so I started my LLC, and I was looking for Barry Co. And I was going to have, like, the logo look like Nipsey Hussle's Crenshaw.
Okay.
Like, that word, I was like, oh, that shit would be hard on a hat. That shit would be hard on a sweater. It was already taken. So then I'm like, what's close to this? Bear Co. And we've been rocking with it ever since.
So is this called Therapy?
Oh, no.
Is that
Here we go.
all right, well, tell us about you.
So I'm Rose Jackson. However, on Facebook, I'm Rose Payne. That's for my privacy for now. I work for Creative Counseling and Studio. We are located in the Sitter Mall. Ran under my owner. Her name is Yasmin Henderson. She is Black, and we have 8 therapists, and half of us are Black. We specialize in women, LGBTQA population. I'm also a drug and alcohol counselor. I work at Centerpoint Campus for Hope 3 days a week for about 15 hours, and they're specialized in drug, alcohol, and homeless populations. Was my passion. Yeah, I guess I've been doing therapy for 7 years. 7 years. Wow. And we were at Charles Drew together. So, yeah, I know I don't sound all that cool and stuff saying my stuff, but it's real.
You sound lovely, Rose.
Yeah, you
Don't
sound
worry.
It's all good. We all here.
And let me just point out, the reason why we emphasize Black therapists is because you really do, a lot of times you look for somebody that looks like you, that you can relate to. So in no way are we saying that Black therapists are the only good therapists. Therapy is great no matter who. And you don't have to have a Black therapist to get help. You know, we just want to let you know that there are options out there where you can go sit in front of somebody who looks like you and understands, you know, maybe where you come from a little better.
Yeah, so we definitely appreciate you tuning in. We hope that you were able to take something away from this, spread the word. One of the big things that Jason and I want you to do is jump on YouTube and please subscribe. We need these subscribers. We have some things that we want to do and kind of go live. So, and able to do that, for us to be able to do that, hit that smash, that subscribe button, pass the word, spread it, and look for more in store.
Yeah, join the conversation. Like that's our big push. Join the conversation. We want to have these talks. Lastly, before we go out, I gotta take a moment and say shout out to Terrence Bud Crawford.
The GOAT.
Man,
the GOAT.
listen.
The GOAT. The
Listen, those
GOAT.
buttons.
I call hold on. Which one we
All
push?
of them.
All of them. What about?
Nah.
Oh, that was a party one. Oh yeah,
There we
definitely.
go.
Yeah,
There we go. Right
yeah, we
there.
definitely
Right
gotta
there.
give him the explosion.
Shout
That's
out to the
definitely
GOAT.
it. But yeah, shout out to Bud, man. You've represented this city from day one to the fullest, and you will always have my utmost respect. I tell people all the time, when I was at the YMCA on Ames, there was no cameras there. There was just kids in the gym, and he was in there playing basketball and talking to the kids and giving his time to them without no publicity, without anybody watching. It was not a stunt, or it wasn't a post made about it. He just genuinely loves children, love the kids. And my son boxes at B&B for free. These kids are allowed to go down there, learn boxing, have fun, build self-esteem, learn a skill for free, which is absolutely amazing in a time where everybody wants to be paid for something.
And that's what it's about.
So
Giving
shout
back
out
to
to
the
Bud.
community. And I will say, anybody from the city, if you went against Bud, come see these therapists.
Yeah, shame on you.
Please come see these
You
therapists.
can't come in my office.
Yeah,
Yeah, shame on you.
Go get a different therapist. Go get therapy, because you should never go against a champ. So
Never.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's our episode for today. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Peyton.
I'm Rose.
Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.